Hi everybody, Sayana. Today is December 21st, 2021. It's the first day of winter. It's winter solstice and the sun enters Capricorn today. This reading is for my Scorpio friends. If your sun, rising, what your moon sign is in Scorpio, this reading may be especially illuminating for you. I always say energy change. Nothing is set in stone. You have agency over your own life. You always have a choice in your actions. So I always urge everyone to use what's between your ears and think things through, plan things out, and take the best course of action for yourself each and every day. So let's take a look. So we'll take a look at the energy that you have dealt with in the recent past. That's very much fading. That's the three cards. And then we'll take a look at the energy that you'll be working with this winter. So essentially from today to about end of March. And then we'll also take a look at the advice cards as well as the lessons you're being asked to learn in the next couple months. So the energy that you have worked with this recent past seems to be pretty difficult. It seems like you have to make some pretty tough decisions, and maybe one particular decision that really occupied a lot of your brain power. And wow, it does feel like a pretty hard decision, and you were weighing the cons and the pros and that back and forth. You kept on asking yourself, what's the best way to do this? And it just felt like you were really stuck between like a rock and hard place. And there's just no easy way out of that situation. And maybe there was also some element of self-denial or things you didn't want to admit to yourself. I can't quite see the details because this is a general reading. I don't see your individual cards, but there's definitely some elements of certain things you didn't want to admit it to yourself for some reason. And it just feels like almost like it was a stalemate situation and there was just no easy way out. And there was a lot of competing priorities that you were working with. It almost felt like it was just a no-win situation. And almost like there were days every small things were going against you. And you know how some days things are just hard, like you miss a bus by 30 seconds and it was pulling away as you were running after it and the bus did not stop. Or you rushed out of work, beat traffic, you got to the bank right as they were locking the door and they wouldn't service you. It just feels like a bunch of really small things that were just super annoying that just added all up. And that kind of felt like the energy that you were working with. And it does seems like in the last couple of days or last couple of weeks that things were getting a little bit better, a lot more stable, and the energy was flowing easier, thank goodness. And maybe you got to a place that you feel like the tide is shifting for the better and things are actually working out. Everything's flowing easier, things are going smoother. Or maybe because you made some hard decisions and you did what you need to shift things around. Um, Maybe you're working sales, and after a lot of drama, that one difficult client finally signed the contract, and now you close this ginormous sale, and you made your quota, and things are just getting easier. Where things are just settling down a little bit, and you feel more confident, you feel more at ease, and you can finally breathe a little bit better, like that sigh of relief, um, which is always appreciated. To be able to sit down for a bit and chill for a few minutes as we get closer to Christmas and New Year's. I mean, who wants to be stressed out during the holidays? I mean, nobody, right? So that seems to be the energy you are working with this last quarter. And these three cards are the predominant energy you'll be working with in the next couple months between now to end of March. There seems to be a lot of wands, a lot of fiery energy. It just feels like you are tired of being in limbo and you just wanted to charge ahead, move things along. And I don't blame you considering what you had to deal with, that sort of like dragging down energy this last quarter. And it feels like you just want to, all the Scorpios out there just wants to take charge of things, have a little bit more agency over your life. Some of you may be tired of office politics or that one crazy manager that you just can't wait to get away from, like fast enough. Some of you might be so tired of listening to the whiny and demanding client. Or some of you are dealing with a romantic partner or family member that for whatever reason you just are having a tough time right now talking to them about things, and you very much just want to, grab life by the horn and be the king of your domain, be the king of your kingdom, and very much wave your hand in the air and just grab onto the stick and beat things into submission. I mean, we all have those days where we just want things to go right for a New York minute. Still, you still have a few challenging days or weeks in this next quarter, and there will be days in the next quarter you'll just feel like, the Greek god who's pushing that giant rock uphill. And I mean, there are days we all feel like Sisyphus, where you have worked for 72 hours straight, you haven't made a dent in your to-do list, whether it's for that report for school or for work. It's almost like you can't catch a break. And there are days, no matter how much you want to stay calm, you're still getting a fight with your family, or you're still getting a fight with your husband or your wife, and you just feel like, dear God, I just need a break. Or there are just days you've tried 17 different ways to talk to your friends, and they're still not getting what you're trying to say. So, a lot of times, just know that when we're making progress, it doesn't always feel like we're making progress. Or when you're in the thick of it, you don't feel like you're making any headway at all. Only when we look back and have a little bit of distance between our situation and ourselves, that's when we realize how much we learned, how much we came along, how much progress we've actually made. So you're definitely plowing ahead and making strides, but it probably won't feel like that to you while you're dealing with all the drama and just absolutely exhausted and feel like you can't move these sticks an inch. And I think there'll also be days where you feel like you have so much responsibilities and everything is burdening you, and you're just absolutely weighted down with everything you're trying to accomplish and everything you're trying to do for your friends and family and your job or school. And you might be doing too much. You might be so busy, you just don't have time to relax. And you don't want to have a burnout. You just want to put the sticks down sometimes and just rest up and recoup so you're able to actually push everything forward and push everything, move the needle a little bit. Sometimes the best way to do the hard work is to take breaks in between. And I think that's something we just have to remind ourselves over and over. These three cards represent like the lessons you're being asked to learn and some of the advice the universe has for you in the next couple months, next 3 months. Three of Swords. Three of Swords. This card can represent all the lemons life throw at us sometimes. And sometimes it just feels like after a long process, a lot of mental gymnastics, you have arrived at some type of understanding. Again, I can't see your individual cards, but it feels like you got to a point where you are admitting some things to yourself. And it's not without heartache you arrived at this point. It seems like you arrived at some kind of decision point. It's not easy, but you finally got here. And you might be parting ways with something, a project, a job, or someone. It certainly hasn't been easy for you this whole time, but maybe you just got to a point where you decide, enough. I've absolutely had enough. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'd rather have this quick pain and get it over with than this long-term slow death of drama that you just don't want to deal with anymore. It feels very much like you're saying enough is enough, and you're just going to either quit a job or put a pause on your business because it's just not going anywhere and it hasn't for a while. Or some of you are just taking a break from your relationship or walking away from this on again, off again drama that you have been dealing with for a while. These are certainly life decisions you don't make lightly. And I think it's taking a lot of heartache for a lot of you to even arrive at this point. And now, even in the midst of heartache, it feels like you're making peace with it. I think your brain has made peace with it, but your heart is still dealing with it. That you know deep down this decision is for your highest and best good. Even if you know it's going to be really hard, it's going to be a lot of crying, a lot of sadness, and just general heartache of letting anything go that we once cared about, what we have invested a lot of time and energy into. And it does feel like you have made a decision letting go of something that maybe at one point, even recently, you just couldn't believe that you could ever part way with it or part way with this person or this job or whatever that you decide to part ways with. And there's a very much an energy of like picking your battles. And sometimes it's just better to walk away and cut your losses, especially when you know long term things are just not going to go your way for one reason or another. A very lighthearted example is like in poker. Sometimes you just lose money, hand after hand after hand. And if you stay with the game, you could just lose everything and more money than you care to. And it might be easier just to cut your loss at one point and just walk away and call it a night. And maybe you've already lost a lot and it's hard to walk away, but you know deep down that if you stay, you're just going to lose even more money. It is just much better to just walk away. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, like, how do I create a win-win situation? Or how do I create a let's lose less situation? And that seems to be the energy of this card that we're working with. And another advice is very much about keep your eye on the ball and keep your eyes on the end goal. Like the decision you're making will allow you to have a much brighter future. Well, I should say the right decisions you're making today and the right action plans you put in place will bring you to a much brighter future than all these gloomy energy you're seeing. Maybe some of you are considering a new business. So ask yourself, what new skills do I need to learn? Like, do I need to learn XYZ? Do I need to learn marketing? Do I need to learn sales? Is it a technology heavy business? Do I need to at least get a basic understanding of coding, at least at a high level? I mean, Elon Musk is a fantastic business person and he's very technical. Like he probably doesn't do the coding anymore day to day, but I bet you his engineers, if his engineers were to present him with a set of codes, he will be able to read it at least understand it at a very high level. I mean, I think that's the kind of business leader and business owner we all aspire to be, right? So ask yourself, what skill sets do I need to acquire? Do I need to learn? What plans do I need to put in motion to finally realize my goals? And I think that's very much advice card for this quarter. I mean, you clearly been through some difficult decision making. And I think things will get a little bit easier as you want to get more control of your life, of your business, of your relationships. And, you have arrived at this point in your life where you know the things that are not working out, you have to say goodbye to them, say goodbye to that situation, and you have to cut your losses, know when to walk away, and ask yourself, what can you learn, acquire, put in motion to get you to a better place at the end of next quarter than the beginning of, this quarter. And let's see what's an advice card we can give for you. Just feel like pulling a moon card for my Scorpio friends. Let's see what this card is. See? Prosperity lies ahead. I think this is a very auspicious card. Every time I think about Taurus, the bull, I always think about financial matters or money. I mean, I think most of you know that in Wall Street, the bull, it signifies prosperity and money and financial services. Or at least that's my interpretation of it. And I think this card tend to come up when people are wanting to create abundance and a better life for themselves. And obviously the energy is very, very in favor of doing that, about creating abundance. And there's very much an energy about putting long-term plan in action, so you can go from the student who's learning about finances to this bull market, which is all about creating abundance. There's a lot about planning and getting clear about what is it you want, and also about taking some time out to get things in order, to get things in motion. I think that's a fantastic card for my Scorpio friends. So ask yourself, what is it you want and what is it you need to do to get there, and get planning. And this is what I see for the next 3 months for Scorpios. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day, guys.